What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Jaquita. This is the UnLearnT podcast where we help you to change your mind so that you, yes, you, can experience more freedom. Guys, as you can see, I did the intro today because it is a special day, okay? It is a wonderful day, okay? Today, we have the Gardners, y'all. Everybody give it up for Ty and Ruth Abigail. Who,
What's up, people?
who. Say hey to the people, Ty.
Everybody.
Hey, right. We have the lovely couple. Ruth Abigail has done a fantastic job without me. Okay, a fantastic job. I know y'all miss me. I know the people was like, "Wait, I'm back." Okay, here I go. Okay, but Ruth Abigail has done a fantastic job on this parenting series, and we wanted to make sure that we hit as many facets of parenting as we could. And we realized there was one topic that we hadn't hit yet that the Gardners are just a perfect little prototype for. So today we're going to switch it up a little bit. I'll be doing the interviewing, okay? And we're going to have a fun time with Ruth and Ty. Ruth Abigail, what's up with you, friend?
I'm a little nervous. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm nervous because I don't know how much I like you having this much control over the conversation. I don't know. I don't like being vulnerable, like this. This is a little much.
And that's been the last 20 years of friendship. So what's new about that?
Finally, somebody she can't rule.
You listen, Ty, okay? Let me tell you something, bro. And my brother know I always got his back. Okay, he know. He know if he need backup, he know who to call. Okay, so that's why we had to make sure. See, we couldn't let Ruth Abigail do this by herself, friends. All right, because she would have been over here trying to monopolize the conversation, trying to lead Ty and all kind of nah. We're putting both of them on equal grounds. That's right, Ty.
I feel like
I see my poor brother been out here just pushing through. Listen, today, Ty, that's what this is all about. It's about you, bro. It's about you.
Wow.
It's about you. I'm just but guys, today we're here to talk about blended families. Okay, we're talking about families that came together that had family before, had children before, had a story before their story began. And so really wanting to just touch on kind of what's special about, being in that situation. I see a lot of Facebook posts that talk about being bonus moms and, this isn't my stepchild. This is my baby. This is part of my family. And so we really want to kind of dig into some of that because it's a lot of people's reality. I'm 38 out here in the dating world. Yes. Out here in the dating world. Okay. Still out here, gotta let them know. That's like, it's like a reality that I'm like, it is highly likely that I might find myself in a blended family where we're working together to build something new. So I want to begin, Ty, let's begin with you. I want to hear your version of the how I met my wife story. So tell us a little bit about kind of like y'all's relationship, how it began, how we got to the beautiful place we are now.
Well, it's back in
2021.
2021.
All right, Ty, it's too early for you to be having to guess years and things now.
Right. April 2021.
There you go.
We was rolling dice and
oh boy.
And I took all the guy money and that's all we had left. You want to bet that, so
okay.
So come on. So I just won in the dice game. Now that's our story. That's our story.
Let's clean that up real quick. Hold on. No.
All I heard was him say that you're his prize. Wow. And that was beautiful.
Is that what you heard?
That's what I heard. Yeah. That's what I heard. Yes. Yeah.
4 years later.
Wow.
Best prize I ever won.
Okay.
That's beautiful.
The real story.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. The real story. You go.
The real story is we met on Facebook dating.
We did.
I was up. He was like late one night, and I was up, and I think I was scrolling or something like that, and then she like matched back, and I texted her, and we started communicating, and she would always she would always send me these long drawn out texts, and I'm like a straight to the point type texter. It's like, hey, how you doing? I'm fine. How are you? And she'll go off. Oh, I'm great. She'll tell me about a day and all of this. It'd be a whole paragraph. Well, I ended up having to respond like that, and it was out of how I normally would respond, and I would have to respond. My day was great, and this and that, and then with the whole emojis and all that. Because
you was putting on.
Yeah, well, I had to match it.
Yeah. Okay, matching energy.
Yeah. I had to match that, and so we went from there, and then finally it was like I was cooking one day. I'd never forget what I was cooking. I think it was chicken and rice at the time. And I was just like, hey, I couldn't do both at the same time. So I was like, hey, just block your number out and call. Like, I didn't know if she was okay with just like, it was so early in the game and, just like just giving a number out like that. So I was just like, hey, just block your number out and call. And ever since then, it's been up.
It's been up.
That is beautiful. I don't think I've ever heard it from Ty.
Yeah, no. But he didn't say, he didn't just say block your name. He said star 69 me, which
I said block.
First of all, that's old school. That's old school right there.
I know I'm a little behind the curve with certain things, but I don't think I said star 69.
You said star 69. I remember that because I said to myself, star 69, I heard that 20 years ago.
Listen, boy, let me tell you something. 9th grade Jaquita, when I wanted to call somebody, star 69, you ain't finna that, because when caller ID came, it told too much about business.
It changed the game.
Two things changed the game: that caller ID and that 3-way calling. When you get the beep, when you used to be on the phone, you get the beep, you be like, hold on.
Yeah.
The game has changed.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's how I remember the star 69, but I remember I could have said it. I don't know, but and ever since then, I don't think we never text again. I think it's just all been.
We mostly just talked and like
been talking.
Yeah, he told me to call him. And he told me to call him, and I did. He didn't answer, and it was late. He said, "Give me 5 minutes," which at the time I didn't realize really meant 30 minutes, and. So I said, it's too late, man. You have to call me tomorrow.
No, but you know what? And this is not even our topic right now, but I feel like we're putting some game out there for the single folk. Okay, I have forayed in and out of the online dating world. Like I go on there for 2 days. I'd be like, this is terrible. And I'm actually not a texter. But when I was interested in somebody, I'd be like, all right, let me hit them with the monologue real quick, let me hit them with a little extra spice. And so I think that that's interesting, like people realizing what you're honestly looking for is for someone to match energy. Like that's just like that indication of that first initial spark. So
that's a very good point.
Yeah, I love that. Like like Ty was like, there's something about this one that makes me want to do a little bit more than my norm.
I was texting like this long of a paragraph and all of that. It's just.
And listen, Ty said I'm over here writing dissertations. Listen.
Oh my God.
Listen, and I think there's also another good point. You can only do that for so long, folks.
Yes.
We're not texting paragraphs for 3 years.
No, that's a lot.
Eventually you do have to move to a different means of communication, right?
Move to the phone.
I'm sorry for the sidebar, but I felt like somebody needed that point, right? And so, we're talking about blended families, and Ty, I'm really interested. And Ruth, we'll come to you in a moment. Just sit tight for a little bit. I'm really interested during the dating phase, like when you knew that you were really interested in Ruth Abigail and that it was getting serious, at what point did you say, okay, I'm going to have to be one? At what point did you say, okay, it's time for me to tell her that I have kids? And then at what point did you start thinking, I'm going to have to bring these worlds together in some way?
Day one, because I knew based off of the dialogue and, reading her bio and then doing a little research on her. And then,
You stalked her a little bit.
paid off.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just knew her. I knew her as a person, and it
Mm.
immediately just jumped like this. I could definitely work, her around, and I know she would be, she would be happy about it. She would love it. Basically, like how he is as a kid, and their energies match.
Mm.
And I know they would love each other, and I know that most importantly, he would love her based off of how he is, but it's just how she accepted him. It's like they hit the ground running.
Yeah.
Right off the bat. And that was such a blessing. And I really, really got lucky.
I love that. So Ruth Abigail, I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to rack my brain here.
Okay.
Was this your first time dating a man with a child?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What, during the dating phase, what were some of the apprehensions or just kind of like background thoughts that were kind of tickling kind of like the back of your mind about, what I mean, you work with kids, right? So I don't imagine you being nervous that there's a child here in your space. But what about kind of as the relationship was building, what were some of the things going on in the mental space about that?
Yeah, well, I'm going to say this, and baby, if you think we need to edit this out, we can. But in the beginning, we didn't know if he was going to be here permanently. Like it was a shared situation. Like it was more of on a schedule.
Yeah.
Right. And so honestly, I didn't have any apprehension because it really was because I do work with kids, and I knew immediately. I had no apprehension about connecting with them, partly because I'm just comfortable with kids, and I knew that. The only thing I was apprehensive of was like, I mean, my best comfort level is like teenagers. He was 7, and I knew I was gonna have to like my energy. You know what I'm saying? Like I was gonna have to play, and like I was like, I don't know what else to do but play. And I think that was the thing. When I come around, I just play. And Ty, he would be like, you can't. He's gonna like run over you. You can't like keep doing that. And I was like, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. And so I just play because I wanted to connect with him, and I felt like I could do that because it wasn't a permanent everyday situation. I would see him mostly on the weekends. We'd be together doing stuff, and I could go hard, right? Because then I was coming back home, and I was chilling. You know what I'm saying? No, it's fine. And so I just, before we found out that he was going to stay here in Memphis with us, in my mind, it was just going to be that same thing, same pattern, right? Go hard for a little bit and then rest, And so I didn't have apprehension. I said I could do that. I kind of do that now, right? With the young people that I'm with, we go hard, they go home. We go hard, they go home, right? And it was like, I could do that all day. I think the apprehension may be a strong word, but I didn't realize I had to rethink this when it was, oh, he's gonna live, he's gonna be here, right? That's a different energy, and that because my life wasn't set up, to be totally honest, to have a child.
I mean, like just to be honest and to piggyback off what you just said, neither was mine. Yeah. He came for spring break and he never left. I don't think he went back home to grab his clothes, and I had a 1-bedroom apartment, and I think this is what I love about her. but we made it work.
Mm-hmm.
And, she jumped right in, and then it was very, very helpful. It was very beneficial, and just like that. So forever grateful for that.
Oh, that's beautiful, Ty. That's absolutely beautiful. You said more beautiful words than Ruth Abigail, and I wanted to give you. I'm just playing, but I think that's something really to consider, because one, when we think about being a bonus parent, right, especially depending on the situation, it can fluctuate.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. At one moment, you're the fun weekend parent, and you were probably gonna do something fun on weekend anyway. That's not necessarily you bringing them into your everyday world. That is you being like, hey, because I only have you for 3 days, we're gonna eat out, we're gonna go do something fun, we're gonna watch movies, we're gonna play, and you're not even gonna really think about it. But when it comes to like really having to settle into this idea of, I'm going to be raising this kid, right? Ruth, I'm really interested as you were thinking through, because right, so you moved from I'm the fun, bonus person in your life, right? Like I'm a fun addition, like like Velcro me on for the weekends, and then just
right off.
take that right on off, when the week comes. When you realize that it was about to switch, what things did you have to do internally, kind of like mentally and emotionally, as well as externally, as far as like organizing or reorganizing your life to make space inside of you for parenthood?
Excellent question.
I'm good at what I do.
I see that. So I didn't have a lot of time to figure it out, which I actually, in hindsight, am grateful for that. I think I would have overthought it. And so Ty tells me I overthink things, which he's not wrong. And I think I would have overthought it, right? And so, okay, all the faces. So when we found out, it was 2 days before our wedding day. 2 or 3 days.
A day and like
the day before the rehearsal dinner. Yes, that Thursday. So that we found out he was going to stay. The plan was for him to we were going to drive him back to Georgia in a few days, right?
We was gonna drive him back on the 7th.
Yeah, that's right.
There, go to our honeymoon.
And go to honeymoon, right? And so that was our plan.
Okay, so wait, just for the timeline purpose, y'all got married
on the 5th,
August 5th,
right?
Right. So August 3rd, you found out.
Yes,
he was gonna be staying. Okay.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Right.
The 4th.
No, I think it was
the 4th was the rehearsal dinner.
The 3rd. It was the day before that Thursday.
Okay.
And so we found out, and then he had school that 7th, which is a Monday. So he was going to be in school in Georgia. Okay. That's where we were taking him to. Well, when it flipped, we didn't find out. So we had to just pivot. I mean, fast, right? Everything changed that weekend.
Registered.
The night of our wedding changed that weekend. Our whole world shifted, and both of our worlds shifted, right? Like he was, I mean, so I think the blessing in that was we both had to figure things out together pretty quickly. So I think that was a blessing. I think on my end, I'm a problem solver by nature. So I was just in problem solving mode. Okay, we just got thrown a wrench. Let's go. Like it wasn't even I wasn't thinking about how it was affecting me or emotional, like what am I doing? I didn't think about that until maybe a couple weeks in. And I think, and babe, you can, you could kind of share your side on this. I was really, I think the thing that I was the most concerned about was whether or not I would have time or energy to actually be a parent, because my life was revolved around work If I'm being totally honest. My world was, I was moving. I had a pace that at the time I wasn't sure if I could slow down enough to be a good wife and mother. You know what I mean?
So, you were already mentally making preparations to budget your time and your energy to be a wife. How did that, with such a quick transition, how did you then kind of pivot to having to reorganize yourself to be both?
Yeah. Okay. So what our original plan, and correct me if I'm wrong, was he like he was going to go and kind of work on a project and be back and forth and kind of, doing a lot of stuff like
Mm.
land development, that things like that. And so he was going to be back and forth. I was going to keep doing. So we had kind of negotiated that these first few years were going to be a lot of movement for both of us because we were really working towards stuff.
Mm.
And so we were going to have the freedom and flexibility to do that. And so when, as far as me being a wife was concerned, we kind of worked that out, right? Like we knew, because we're both very, we're hard workers, we're goal oriented, and we knew where we wanted to be. And so we started off like that. And then we had a child. And you can't move like that with a child. So it really kind of slowed us both down. It slowed the plan down. And so I think that because we had communicated so well as to what we wanted to do as a married couple, we were good. Like my life wasn't going to shift that much in the next couple of years because we had a plan. Is that accurate, babe?
Yes, I would say so. It definitely. I mean, from my point of view, and I can speak for mine, looking into you. I think you made a huge sacrifice in what you did. Like it was okay for it to be wrong with me, but and I had to make some changes, but you had to make more than me, and you took it in stride. And I'm thankful. I never forget our wedding day. Or was it the wedding day or the fourth or something like that? I think it was the fourth, baby, when we found out he was staying. I said, "Hey, he's gonna have to stay." Oh, okay, let's get it set up. Get him registered in school. Let's grab him some clothes, grab him things he needs, and let's get it going. And it's like right at that moment, we went from planning a honeymoon, dropping him off, planning a honeymoon, going to relax, to boom, okay, dead in the water. We can't go. We got to change this. This is the plan. So let's execute. And it flowed so smoothly that it seemed like it was planned, and it was all because of her. That was a blessing. I mean, we got things done, and like it would have took 2 weeks. We got it done in a day.
We got it done in a day.
No, I definitely remember y'all running around. And that school thing was a fun yeah. It was a fun piece.
I remember I was in Walmart buying school supplies like right after the wedding, and and somebody was pushing the buggy, and they backed up. I'm like, Ty, what you doing in here buying school supplies? You just got married. So it came about. It was Candace. It was Candace. She was in
there. Oh, it's Candace. Oh, that's right. Yeah. She did. Oh, yeah.
School supplies.
Candace goes to the church. That's exactly right.
Oh, now that is hilarious. Ty, you said something interesting, when you were giving your yet another beautiful tribute to Ruth Abigail. I mean,
let's just say this. Let's just
let's say it.
Look, he's way better at words.
Compliments.
Telling the truth.
Words of affirmation than I am. He is much sweeter with his words and his tone and all that. He just is. which is why we work so well, because I'm not as.
Listen, Ty, somebody had to take up the mantle that the rest of us gave up on. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
You made the point that Ruth Abigail, you felt like she sacrificed more than you did. And when you said that, the thought just kind of ran across my mind, that, like you had, your son at that point for 7 years. He was part of your life. And even though, because, we just talked about how you weren't necessarily ready to be full-time custodial parent either. Right. And so, what things about bringing on full-time parenthood for both of you do you feel like you also had to sacrifice? Because it sounds like, you're taking on like this kind of sense of responsibility of like, this is my kid and I brought this kid into the relationship. And so you felt more responsible. So you look at the like levels of sacrifice a little bit differently.
Sacrifice in terms of like with me and her relationship, or just like me.
Let's go for both. It sounds like you got some thoughts.
Okay. Well, when it came to me, it was just more so I had to change the things that I was doing. I had to make a lot of changes in terms of from how I spend my money to how I spend my time to when I can go out on the road to just everything I did. Like I had to change it because now it's not all about you. Like, you have another child with you now. It's not over the phone anymore. It's not, you spend the weekend and, so that's all. It's with you now. Oh, so I had to change a lot, but it was for the better though. Like the changes I made, some of the stuff that I had to change, I needed to change. Hindsight looking at it, I'm glad I made the changes. It made me a better person. At least I feel like I. And I got him here with me. That was awesome. Now, when it comes to the relationship, I think it was just more so trying to find that balance where you're not you're sharing your time equally, and you're showing him love and not neglecting her, and vice versa. I think that was like the biggest thing. But once that came, like I'm an easygoing guy, so it's not too much that I can't like, change or like I don't need to do this for the sake of all of us hanging out together, finding time for everyone. So it wasn't bad. I know that, like I said, not trying to keep.
It's all right. Give her one more.
It was just yeah. One more out of 1,000.
That's so sweet.
But it was just more so about hers. It's about like what she took in a whole nother child, and a whole nother child is an entirely another piece of responsibility. And that's and I don't know the statistics of it, but that doesn't go well.
Yeah,
like that, and especially at such short notice, and we had totally different plans, and she sacrificed more. And so we're just grateful for that, and then it worked, right? Like the sacrifices I made, the sacrifices she made, and even with him, and we find happiness in the sacrifices we made to spend time with each other, and it's been very beneficial. We play Uno at night. We play games at night. Just that bonding time. Sometimes we sit down and watch a movie or eat dinner together. Just be in each other's presence, and that's so much better than going out to cigarette at times. And, or just hanging out with a bunch of guys, or whatever. And it's like I find solace in being, and it's all It all boils down to the sacrifices that were made, mainly because of.
Can I say, can I say this? He still goes to the cigar bar though. He still hangs out with his guys. I still hang out with people, and I still do things that I do. I just came from out of town with a family trip. I was in Greenville with y'all, right? And so we have still, I think the beauty of being on the same page has been we've been able to allow each other to still have our life, because one thing that I appreciate about him, that I feel like I had to really now I'm gonna toot his horn because he doesn't. I'm gonna toot his horn.
Yeah,
here.
you owe him.
Really
You owe him
I
at
do.
least one.
I owe him.
Yeah. Get in there.
So one thing I really appreciate about him is that he refused to allow me to totally neglect things that I came in with. He wouldn't let me do it, right? Whether it's my work, my relationships, the activities I like to do, my me time, all of that. He insisted that I keep it. And it took me a minute to believe that he really meant that. And I think that was a lot of the anxiety I had in the beginning, probably for the first year or so. I would try to overcompensate because I was like, I would tell him I'm gonna be home, earlier than I normally am, and make sure that I'm gonna cook and do all the things I felt like I was supposed to do. And I wanted that was a struggle.
That was a struggle.
Like because truth be told, that was hard for me. Like, a lot to you. It was hard, and I tried to overcompensate, and I felt like I was failing because I couldn't be all in as a parent the way I saw it, right?
Oh,
and so, or just like with the marriage time, like in general, like the marriage time, and like she would always, baby, I'm gonna be late tonight. I apologize. Okay, bye. And I started getting like sarcastic with her, and, just
like I'm done with this.
Yeah, like he would be like, I don't care, and all this stuff. Yeah. I'd be like, what you, so we but like I had to believe that he actually was for me, continuing to be me. You know what I mean? And that is a gift, and that's an amazing gift to have in a husband.
No, I love that. Good job, Ruth Abigail. We're proud of you.
Thank you very much.
I had a thought though as you were talking, because for me, as you were talking about kind of like what you were trying to do, where were you pulling this model of this is who I'm supposed to be? Because you didn't come from a blended family.
No.
So when you think about your own parenting style, how are you bringing in your own experiences with kind of this new world of blended life? Like, how are you trying to kind of merge those?
Well, I think that's the thing. Like, I didn't come from a blended situation. So I'm only pulling from my mother and what she did. And my mom, she was, at the top of her career when she had kids. She left that entirely, right? And that and then she devoted all her time to being at the house and doing the laundry, doing the cooking every night, doing pickups, all the things I don't do every night. And it bothered me, right? It bothered me so much, and I was like, I don't know how to fulfill this well.
Wow.
I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
Wow.
And he was, right? And so it was and I had to accept, and he has helped me to accept, number one, this role thing, which I didn't even realize was going to be a thing, honestly, for me. But this role thing was a thing for me. Like, no, this is what I'm supposed to do as the wife, right? Is this, and that. And so he has helped me to realize we're partners. where I am in my life and my schedule is much more flexible than yours. So I'm going to take this. This is my job, not yours. Right, for right now. You know what I mean? Like, and so it's like, okay, but I didn't believe him. Honestly, I'll be honest. I don't know if he's ever heard me say this before. I really thought, I was like, if I keep doing this, I don't think he's gonna want to stick around for that. Like, I'm thinking like there is no way that this man is gonna be okay with me going all in with what he's telling me to go all in with. By like continue to pursue what you're doing, continue to run the organization well, continue to go out and do you. Nah, you don't mean that. I'm gonna lose you. Like I really that was in my mind.
Ty, I'm interested in knowing, because as Ruth Abigail is just talking about just kind of the man, the husband, and the father that you are, where did this value system come from? Right? Because there's not every marriage is different, every couple is different, and everybody brings kind of a different perspective to it. But all men are not like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Just work it out. Do what you do, keep all the things that are important to you. Like how did you learn that value system?
I think growing up, I didn't, growing up and watch how my mom and my dad operated. We kind of grew up in the same household with, like, how I say it, like, my dad did all the work, and then the mom, she kept the tempo. Like, she ran the house, and we grew up like that. But also, I grew up seeing like how my dad, he wasn't my mom and my dad. They wasn't like uptight people. Like, when it came to their relationship, they gave each other their space. They did that, and and I met you on the bus. I know who you are, and I love that about you. So for me to do anything than to stopping you from doing what you love, is not who I am. I'm not overprotective, overbearing type of person. I'm not a jealous person in a bad way. I'm not like that, and it gets me up to see my lady go hard.
That's so precious.
Like, it gets me, like, it just brings a sense of pride, and I love that, and it motivates me. And so, hey, do your thing, hey, if you got to stay out late, go ahead. I know what you got. Like, I know what it takes, and anything I can help you with, or whatever, like, do that, because of, we're trying to scale this thing. In order to scale it, we can't sit home. We can't, miss things, or not checking all the boxes, dotting all the I's, crossing all the T's, and this is what it takes. And I'm for that, and I love it, and I love that you're like
no.
that. I always joke about it. Like, I was like, baby, I'd have changed my life this year. I would have been. You ever met a Gardner? Who did it? Patty LaBelle? Like, her husband? Never heard of it.
Oh, wait a minute. I was not ready. I was not ready. That's hilarious.
Yeah, we joke, we say that, but it's just like, it just shows, like, I'm all in for you, and I know the drive that you have.
I love it.
You gotta go places. You gotta go. Whatever we gotta do, we gotta do. You want to go hang out with your friends, you deserve it. And I used to tell her, quit telling me what you're doing.
He did.
Just do it. Like, and she would, like, get a little riled. Well, you should know, and all this. I know what you're doing. I know you. And don't feel like you gotta, just, I don't know how. Let me, like, I'm not right here on. give you your space, and I trust you.
And can I say, like, everything he's saying, and this is not a relationship conversation, but I do think it matters. Like, the things that I was doing were things that I was told to do by people I trust and people who were giving me kind of like bad advice, which I don't think is bad advice.
Yeah.
But I think then
No,
you
not at
have
all.
to, like,
No.
I didn't marry men, I married a man, right? And so you can't put what people have experienced with men on your man. It doesn't work. And so then I had to say, okay, I hear all that, but then I hear what my man is saying. Okay. And it's like, am I going to pay attention to what they're saying about their experiences or what he's saying about him? And I had to decide.
Yeah.
And it took me about a year to decide. Like, I'm going to believe him.
But
which,
you know,
and
no,
nobody's
they weren't
wrong.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. No, nobody's wrong. You just have to go
Right.
with what works for you. Like if that works for us, then what we're doing works for us. So be it. Whatever works for anybody else, it works. It's not a right or wrong. It's just what works for you. And either one of them would work for us. But I know that what she's trying to accomplish, the things that was possibly told to her, we got to pull together and do them. And I don't mind washing the clothes, cleaning the house. So, like if I'm home, but I got a lot of free time. That's my job, and I don't mind cooking. I don't mind.
Listen, y'all. Facebook dating, folks. Facebook dating.
That's it.
Okay. We got to talk about the kid, all right? Because that's what we came here to do. But I think I think the foundation that you guys have, I think it's so important to highlight that, because when we talk about a blended family, if you bring the kid into a situation where you don't have understanding of who that person is and you're not 100% for each other, then that's when that biological parent really gets split. Because I mean, honestly, Ty, Tyson was in your life first.
Mm-hmm.
And there are a lot of parents,
right,
especially moms, right, mm-hmm. who are like, I go 100% for my kid and you're the add-on. Right. And instead of it being, we do this 100% together and we have this. Sorry, the scripture, we have this ministry, huh? It was right there, right? It was like, hey, you don't want to holler this one out, and I do, right? But like there is a we, not a I and a you. There's a we that has this. And what I heard from Ty is that there are things that he is so careful to protect in you, because it's also helping to maintain the we. Like, who you are is building him up and is bringing the cohesion for y'all's union that helps you guys to continue to parent this amazing kid, right? Yeah. Ruth, I want to know, because again, you went from being the fun weekend parent to the, did you brush your teeth?
Yeah.
Did you do your homework? And all of the things. So I'm wondering, what has it been like, and what have you learned about building that parental, not a cool adult, but a parental relationship with the young guy?
I watched Ty a lot, and I mimicked a lot of what he would do, what he was doing, because he had been that for a year and a half. And so once I got over my insecurities of making that transition, I just started watching him. And I had to find my own flavor, but I think like one of the things was like, okay, the first thing that I feel like I had to really fix is the play thing, right? So like I couldn't keep that up every day. Like I'm walking.
Yeah, we old.
You know what I'm saying? Like
And
He's on 100
he's on
all
100
the time.
every day.
Not
Like
not
he
this
is.
middle adult life.
Zero.
So like I walk in from work, Miss Abby, and he'll run and jump on me, which is really sweet. And it's like, oh, this is awesome. And then, but it's like, 6:37. And then you'd be like, okay, but and then he'll keep jumping, right? And keep jumping and pull me to go, like, can we do this? Oh, can we do this? Can we do that? You want to play with me? You want to draw? You want to do all? And I had to gain the courage to say, nah, buddy, not right now. I'm tired. And not feel like I was being, a bad parent. Um, and because I felt like I had more ground to make up, right? I had to prove that I wanted him here,
Ooh.
kind of thing, and I didn't want him to feel
Ooh.
like. So that those were, but I had to realize, and Ty would just remind me a lot, like he loves you, he knows you love him. You gotta rest. You don't have to prove yourself so much, like. But it took me a minute, and so I think I watched him, separate. And he would do a really good job and still does when he and I are talking, right? And we're hanging out and he comes in and he wants to be the center of attention because he's a child, right? And most children want to be the center of attention when they feel like it. And he'll say, "Hold on, buddy, we talking. You come back in a minute." And for a while, like I would feel completely I would just shift and put my attention on him. But it's like I had to follow Ty's lead to say no, like we're talking, wait, and give us that time and space so that we could establish that separation sometimes and not feel bad, right? And not feel like I wasn't adequate in his life as a parent.
Peter, to answer your question, like with the beginning of your question when you was talking about the blended family thing, like the mom goes from what you said like 0 to 100 about her kid and all of that. If looking at this relationship and you didn't know us, you would think that she was his biological mother and I was the stepfather. Because
Help us, Lord. Stop.
like I mean it'd be crazy. Like he takes her side, she takes his
Not you a
side.
stepdad in your
I
own
can't say
home,
certain things.
Lord.
Oh, what? Yes, yes. I, I, baby, you can't do this, or you can't say this, or like, and she like. Now, one thing I'm glad that she got out of is buttering him up. Like she would, we've had conversations
We
about
have.
that. Like I would get on to him about things only a man could do because he's a boy. And we got that straightened out. So she has quit that, thankfully. But like it'd be terrible at times. Like one time I got onto him and I think I had to. She sat me down and gave me this long speech, and I had to just go in there and apologize to him. I had to go in there and apologize, even though I didn't want to, but I had to. And hindsight looking at it, it was relevant. Like it was relevant that time. But it just goes to show that like kids move off love. We've all been there. They move off of love energy, and I think with that she has won him over to the point where you wouldn't know.
I love that.
It's a flawless child or anything because of the love she's shown, and that's been like that since day one. And he would always have that with him. And he would always be thankful and grateful for her. She is.
That's so precious, Miss Abby. That is just adorable. I'm interested to know Ty because he knows a world outside of y'all as parents. What are kind of some of your considerations, anxieties, fears around him kind of growing up in different environments, and how are you preparing for that?
I think the one thing is we show him what a stable home is, and not only that, he has a community around him that loves him, and they show him the same as well. So I think those teachings, along with like keeping a clear, open line of communication, allowing him to express himself to us and us, without reprisal, repercussions, and allowing us to give him the feedback with that he needs. And I think with that, keeping it Christian based as the foundation. With that, having the community and all of that, I think outside of here, I think he's safeguarded. Now there are some things that you just can't prepare for. But I think if the basics, like we've all come from a strong background, right? Like some things like the world don't even affect us because of based off of our morals and values, like how we grew up and all of that. Like we're still covered with that. Now, true enough, there is some things that life gets in the way, and you're gonna have to figure it out on your own. But that core is still there. Like, that doesn't go anywhere. And I lean on that. It worked for me. It worked for y'all. Y'all turned out pretty great, and your friends and everybody. So I think if we can stay within that, I think life is great. So I'll let the world be the world.
I really like that because I think that, when we think about blended families, and I do think that there's some consideration though that y'all got him, at an age where you could still build foundation.
Very true.
It would have been very
Very
different
true.
if this was like a 16 or 17-year-old, and they'd be like, "You not my mama,"
Right.
like,
Absolutely.
it, yeah. And but I think that that's something to think about, and I go back to, making sure that as we're thinking about blended families, you can't just think about how you're going to build this relationship with this kid. You have to think about the relationship you're building around the kid.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times, because after my parents separated, I was part of multiple blended homes. Not multiple, like it wasn't back to back to back. But my mom got remarried afterwards. And I remember in being introduced to anytime there was a new person, whether it was on my mom's side or my dad's side, you go through this phase where they're like, I want to take you shopping. I want to get you things. I want to do things for you, and having just kind of like those background conversations with them. But it took something that I don't know that I ever really saw to say that those people were going to parent me. And so you guys have done just a masterful job in what, almost 2 years?
Yeah.
Are we coming up on 2?
It's coming up on 2.
Oh, okay. I didn't, child.
Is it 2?
Yeah, I know. I was trying to figure out. Y'all got married in 23.
We've been, it's been 2 years marriage, but 4 years together.
And like he came.
Oh, okay, got you.
We had been together a year when he came.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Right. Okay, so
he's been
3 years with him around, but kind of almost 2. We'll just go with almost 2, like kind of just in this like really foundational, structured, and so I'm interested, Ruth Abigail, when you think about kind of, I'm not gonna be that person, and I've never been that person. I can honestly say this: I ain't never asked you when you gonna have some kids.
You have. You are correct.
I have never been that person. Okay, I ain't never been over there like where the nieces and nephews at. But I'm as you kind of think out into the future, you have a son now,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like I think you would say like I have a son,
Mm-hmm.
I am a mom, I am a parent, I am,
Mm-hmm.
a part of this. But when you think about kind of your hope for whatever else may come in the future, like what are some things that like you consider about trying to build those relationships to make sure, everybody has their space?
Yeah, a little bit of it makes me nervous.
Yeah, you sound nervous.
You know, it makes me nervous. I'm not naive as to believe that it won't be different at some level. Like,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? Like, I'm not naive about that. And I think what I want to be sensitive about is that it doesn't feel different to him,
Mm.
right? Like, I never want him to feel like it's different because now I have a child that actually came from me. And I think that the way I think about it is like I want him to be a part of the whole process as much as possible, right? Being transparent, this is what's happening, getting excited about it, and like Ty was saying, like functioning as a unit around it, right? Like this is and so I think that's even like randomly talking about it even now, right? Just hey dude, you'd be a really good big brother, right?
Mm.
To which he has said, I don't want to be a big brother. I want to be a little brother. I said, well, it's a little too late for that.
Missed that. We missed that.
Not gonna happen. But I think like just making those comments and I think I've asked him before like how would you feel about having a brother or sister, he said, and he'll give his thoughts and I'll listen, right? And then we'll laugh about something or whatever. So I think just keeping that conversation open with him as well, and not like it's just a me and Ty thing and then he's over here and oh
Mm.
look what happened, look now you have to adjust your life. No, like I want to be intentional about that. So I don't know, I think there's a lot of unknowns there, and I don't know that I don't we talk, Ty and I talk all the time. Like, number one, there's never a right time, right? There'll never be a right time. And so I think it's just a matter of, when and if it happens, we're just gonna take it in stride. We're just gonna do it, right? And figure it out. Like we've been figuring other stuff out. And we just kind of, that's just what we have to do. But yeah.
Ty, when you think about hopes for the future and what you want this blended family to grow into, what do you envision when you think 10 years down the line?
I want our family uh, to keep on the trajectory
Mm-hmm.
that it's going on while working on some things that like building off of
Mm.
what our parents left, off what they left us. And I think like we both um, came from a
Mm-hmm.
great background. Like it wasn't broke. Like I said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
Well, you can make it better. And I think we can just keep trending up with that, and just making the world better than what we
That's so
found.
precious.
We can do that by controlling what we can control, and that's giving our kids the foundation what we had, and build off of that, and just
Yeah.
keep this thing going. Just leave it
Mm.
better for the next generation.
I love it. I think we really had a theme. I think when you think about family just in general, it's generational.
Yeah.
And you both, like you said, Ty, you both come from great families. You both had love in those families. You both saw parents who both operated in love and in collaboration with one another to build who you guys are today. And so, whether the family is blended or not, you have an opportunity to build something that your child, our children, or whatever y'all decide to do, but you have it. You have an opportunity to build something that one day they'll build on. And so I think it's important to know, I was just talking with, I think it was it you, Ruth? And I was like, aunties really just don't get enough credit out here.
Yes.
Like my sister had a baby and a lot of people around me had babies. So I'm like in auntie land right now, and Mother's Day is coming up. And I'm like, this is a lot of pressure. Where the aunties day at, but I am a person that will have an impact in the lives of these children, right? And so everybody that you invite into your community, whether it is a spouse that is not the biological parent, whether it's a sister, a brother, a friend, grandparents, church members, schools, everybody that you invite into that world, you are inviting to help you build the foundation for that child. And I think that if we look at blended families and see it as just that simple, I mean, we could have got into the drama. There's gonna be some drama, right?
Sure.
There's gonna be, because blending everything don't always. Sometimes there's a little oil, it's a little vinegar in there. Everything don't always mix.
Yeah.
Everything doesn't always, come together just right. Even as you guys were talking, you were talking in reflection mode, but when you were kind of in the moment going through things, you weren't thinking, man, this is just all going to work out and I'm going to be a better person, because of this. And this is, wow, God really knows exactly what he's doing. And I'm so grateful for this moment, but I think hopefully it helps somebody to be able, now that you guys are kind of 2 years out of kind of like the beginning of your parenthood journey together, hopefully it helps somebody to understand that, while the moment may seem rocky at first, eventually you'll start to see what the stones God has been laying down for you that you can continue to build on. So.
And the one thing about that is, you gotta want it. And you gotta want it to work. And if if you both, on the same accord and you want it to work, then there's a lot of things that's just not gonna break you. It's not gonna come into it. Like, there's things that probably would happen in somebody on his side of the family, or a parent or auntie or whatever. She'll never know, because it won't even get to me. Two is damn sure not gonna get her. Because it's not gonna. We're gonna make this work, and we're gonna make it work at our cost.
Yeah,
that's what we want, and it's all done in love, and you protect that love. So you just gotta want it.
You do, and I would say, I would say that, when you say you want it, what you're saying is you want growth and you want commitment, regardless of anything else. And I think, like, coming into a situation, and I think here's the thing, honestly, we talk about how quick this was, but we got married, but we committed to each other before we got married, right? I mean, I had committed to him and I had committed to Tyson before we got married. So when he said, hey, he needs to stay, my commitment was already there. So I didn't change my commitment, I just changed the plan. And because you have to change the plan to meet the commitment. And so I think
oh, that's good.
That's going to be necessary throughout your entire relationship. When, whether you're coming in with children, if you have your own children, just the things that are going to happen in your life that you can't control, that you can't predict, like, commitment is going to have to be a part of it before you get to it. You have to have decided, like he said, that you want it. And so you committed. Okay, like, this is what it is. And so, and I think we both enter into that every day by choice, because it's also not just one time. We don't agree on everything. We've had, just arguments and issues that we've had to work through. Well, we
No
haven't like yelled at
arguments.
each other. You know what I mean?
No, we don't
Okay,
have. We never had an argument.
that's
For the
fair.
record,
We
we've
don't have
never had
arguments.
an
We do
argument.
have disagreements. That is true. And we communicate and we talk through it. And sometimes we land in the same place. Sometimes we don't. It's like and sometimes you just have to. But the commitment is there, and we're committed to continuing to do that, right? And so I just think that's so important for anybody who is potentially entering into this space of a blended family. You meet somebody who already has kids, which, like you said, Quita, especially once you hit 30, 35, that's more than likely gonna happen. And so preparing your mind for that and making sure you commit before you know. You're not gonna know. And so you've made the commitment. So you pivot according to the commitment. And that, I think that's huge. So when you say you want something, that's part of it.
That's good stuff, folks. I was going to tell them to give their last little piece of advice to the folks, but they did it without me asking. So
I would. I would like to
close us on out, Ty.
Like back to when we first started dating. Like the whole entire thing was like I wasn't looking for this. Here it is, we talk about it all the time. I wasn't looking for this. There's things that I didn't do. Like I wasn't in church like that. I didn't go to church outside of a wedding or a funeral or something like that. Like I didn't do that. Like, I didn't go to certain functions. I didn't do certain things. But what I was willing to try different things. I was always open about it, and I found a great young woman that kind of helped me mold me into that, and I love it. And the thing about it is, like, she didn't put my feet to the fire to do it. She made me do it by setting me down, and she made it fun. And a lot.
That's precious.
I remember my nephew. We always talk about it. Like we were sitting out the day of the wedding, and we was lined up, and he was on the wall with his arms crossed. Well, you remember you told me you'd never get married. And I said, look at you now. And then Pastor Eli was like, all right.
Wow.
Like, literally, that's how it happened. Yeah. So, but yeah, it's just be open.
Yeah.
Just be open to try certain things. Like, just live without borders. Respect each other. You can be. It's okay to disagree. Just don't be disagreeable. Just be a sponge. Nobody's perfect.
Amen. Nobody's perfect.
I love it. It's the Gardners, everyone.
It is, and we have a third one who wanted to come on and say something.
I literally was thinking,
let me go get him.
Go get him. We got a special guest, y'all. It's the man of the hour. Say hey to the people, Tyson. Hi. So Tyson, we just spent a little time talking about how special you are. I heard that there's a sign. Oh my goodness, what is happening?
Here we go. All right, here we go. We're on camera, buddy.
So this is.
Oh, okay. Wait a minute. I didn't know you drew like that. That's a nice horse. Okay, Tyson's room. And then what else does it say?
Sorry, y'all. This is a little chaotic. Hold on.
It's okay.
All right.
This is blended family.
So it says, caution, please knock unless you are my dad, please. And me.
Okay, so everybody, so your dad doesn't have to knock. He can just go in.
Because he said what he said.
Ty, what did you say? What did he say?
No, you say it. You say it.
It's a little, it's several things. It's been passed down from generation to generation.
Oh,
you pay
okay.
bills here?
That's not about this case.
What happened in this case?
Okay, what is it?
We're talking about parenting.
He said this ain't about the bills. This is about the
All right,
parenting.
well, all right. Well, what's up? What is it about
So
then?
people know that it's my room. They have to follow the rule. So just in case, like when I'm changing clothes and like people, so people can know that. So people can know that they should knock first before they come in.
Now, Tyson, correct me if I'm wrong, but on this camera are all the people who live in the house, right? So when you say people,
Clarify that. That starts fights, don't it? That
that's
type of word.
hilarious. Well, listen, we're really glad we could have you on camera because it's not a full Gardner family without you. All right. So, do you want to help me close it out? We need to tell the people, right, that they need to do 3 things, right? They need to like, they need to share, and they need to subscribe. Can you tell the people to do that real quick?
Mm-hmm. Everybody like, subscribe.
And
Everybody like, subscribe, and share.
listen, you heard it from the man himself, okay? If you have not become part of the community yet, all right, get in on this. Hit the bell, hit the button, all right, because we're rolling. This has been the last episode of Ruth Abigail's and the UnLearnT podcast parenting series. We're so excited that we get to end it with Tyson and that we got to have just an amazing conversation. Thank you, Ty, for coming on. Ruth Abigail, we appreciate you as well.
Thank you, Taquita, for hosting.
But anyways, this has been UnLearnT podcast. Hopefully today you learned something and you're able to walk in just a little bit more freedom. So until next time, which will be next week, we will see y'all later. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.